So since we're getting this car ready, we've done the brakes and all, we're going to do a quick oil change too. And the gentleman owner of this car has elected to suction extraction the oil rather than drain it. We don't want any bother with stripped out sump plugs. So we have the dipstick out, and we've done this before in this car. We're going to go down the dipstick with this little 12-volt pump powered off the battery, and we're going to suck it all out. Change the oil filter, which is just underneath there, and then refill it. So that's how we're going to do this oil change. Basically, as you run that wee pipe down there, you'll feel it go dump as it hits the bottom of the sump. And this all becomes more malleable when it's warm, with warm oil. So at the minute it's kind of not wanting to bend in an easy direction, but we'll get it sorted out. So we've kind of half got this in the right direction. We've got it down there, and we're now going to connect. So the pump was like $12.99, little. I'm just going to connect positive to positive, and negative to negative. And then at the beginning we always have to hold that output pipe because it wants to coil up. But once it gets warm, it generally does sits and cooperates.
Right, there's a load of crap on the bottom of that, just so we don't freak out later.
Yeah.
Happy enough?
Yeah. So we've got it turned on. It's on the bottom, I think. So I can tell by the noise that's making that it's got oil. There's the oil coming out. So when I'm doing that, he's going to manipulate this now that it's warm and more malleable, and just make sure we're in the bottom of the sump and get all the oil out. But the note changes on this little motor when it runs dry, so you can tell if it's coiled up in the sump or not. It's a bit fiddly, but we get there in the end this way, and we always get all the oil out, and we'll check to make sure. Going well, a few litres out already. There's a measuring marker down the side of this, so we'll know how much oil we get out. So I need to poke about now that kind of turns into a bit of a string, so it will just fall into the sump. There we go. Just picked up oil again. So we just tape that onto the side of the bucket so we don't have to hold it anymore. It's very awkward this way. That's the measuring on the side of the bucket. I think we're nearly there. But we're going to clean up the side of the bucket, find out how much we have extracted, and then we're going to go in and we're going to open that oil filter, and then we're going to have another suck once the oil filter's changed to make sure we've got it all, and then measure exactly what we've got out. But he's going up and down with this, and we're pretty sure at the minute there's nothing left in the sump. It looks like we've got about 5 or 6 litres out. I'll clarify that in a few minutes, so that will likely be it all anyway. We're going to go now and get the oil filter. We've laid an old towel over the top of the engine so you can just turn it up right up there whenever it's out. Obviously we're still in the drainy phase as well, or the sucking out phase. Probably should have put a ratchet on that, would have been easier. Alright, okay, we've got that up, and we're gonna, the oil filter looks like it's a good shape, so we're gonna change the O-ring at the end there, the O-ring down near the cap, and then we'll change that filter also. We'll put it back in, and we'll do more of the pumping to make sure that we've got all of the oil out. Okay, so we'll change the filter out now. And then we'll go for, it's absolutely fine, we'll go for that little ring there, that little ring there. I'll give a wee screwdriver for that. And then the big one. Okay, so both O-rings out, and then we'll look at the filters and compare them, 100%, and we'll go into the bag. In there we have a crush washer, which we're not going to use because we haven't used the sump plug, and 2 replacement washers, so we'll lube those washers up with oil and replace them.
Get rid of these fucking.
We'll mix them up, so we'll get rid of them. There we go. So we'll give it another wee bit of oil before we finish up anyway, because I think we've rubbed most of it off. And then we'll go for the bigger one. And that runs right down into there.
That one?
Yeah. Spin it around, check, make sure it's in the whole way.
Okay.
Okay. And then we'll put the new oil filter into the housing. Okay, and before we put that back in the car, we're going to try and suck oil out of the sump again and see if, just set that upright, and see if we can get any more oil out. All the way up and then lower it down slowly, and then once you're nearly out, lower it all down slowly till it hits the bottom again. All the way down till you feel it hit the sump bottom. Okay, so we're just getting a little tiny bit more oil out, but nothing worth talking about really. Just it's not even enough. Yeah, just a little bit more is coming out. It's a bit fiddly this way, but you don't have to raise the car to do it. Okay, I've tilted this bucket back. You can see the 6 mark there. I'm now I've cleaned the edge and I'm just dropping it down nice and level. And we have got exactly 6 litres out of this car. So we've got all the oil out, we've got 6 litres out of the car. It's still sitting there, we haven't fitted the filter or anything, everything's still sitting as it is. So all we need to do is fill it back up again. So we are confident we've got all the oil out of the car. I'm just going to put a wee bit more used oil around those 2 O-rings because putting them on, we pretty much cleaned them. Do the big one all the way around. Okay, we're ready to put that back in the car now. So we're going to go ahead and refit this oil filter back down in. And we'll just screw it all the way down as far as possible by hand.
That was quite awkward.
Yeah, it's always a wee bit awkward because you have to get the pointy end to go down the hole in there. There we go. Right, if you probably put a wee bit of pressure on it while you're turning. That's turning down rightly there. You can try and turn that down by hand as far as you can before we tighten it with the torque wrench.
That's as far as I can go. Right.
So just run it down until it's mated against that surface, and then we'll tighten it with the torque wrench. But don't tighten it that way, we'll do it with the torque wrench. Okay, that'll do it. We'll do the rest with the torque wrench now. So if you actually, I forgot to point this out, but if you actually go down there, you can barely see that, but it says 35 Newton meters. So we'll set the torque wrench to 35 Newton meters, and then we'll nip that up tight, and then we'll fill it up with oil. The service fill in this car is 5.3, so there was too much oil in it. But we'll probably start with 5 litres, dip it, see where we are, and top up afterwards. So we've got the torque wrench set to 35 Newton meters as per instructions on the oil filter housing, and then we will nip it up tight to that spec. There we go. That's it, torque to 35 Newton meters. Now all we'll have to do is fill the oil, run it, dip it, and top up accordingly. Okay, so we'll fill her up. We're gonna put in probably 5 litres. It says service fill's 5.3, so we'll put in 5 litres and we'll run it for a wee minute. It's sitting on the level already. We didn't have to raise it because we sucked the oil out. So we just start it where it sits once 5's in, and then we'll dip it, see where we're at, and top up accordingly to get the right oil level. Alright, we're going to go for the first start here now and let it run for a wee minute, and then we'll dip it. There's 5 litres of oil in the car. I'm just checking for leaks. There are no leaks, so that's always good. Car sounds well and no oil is leaking, so we'll let it run for a wee second, then we'll dip the oil. We'll clean her off and then give it a dip and see where we're at. Look at that, perfectly just below the full mark. That's perfect. So it is just below full, a couple of mils. So the most we would need to put in there is about 200 mils, if any, but we don't even have to put any in if we don't want to. So that's been a successful oil change using the suction technique on this car.
Methodology.
It's definitely not classy, but it works. It's very effective. So the car had too much oil in it. It had almost 6 litres in it that we got out, but we've just put the 5 in. We'll probably top it up with about 200 mil just to bring it right to that fill mark, and then we'll leave it at that. Alright, we're going to give her another wee dip here. We've just put another 200 mil ish in just to see if we can bring it up to the fill mark. And that has actually brought it perfectly up. You can see the hole there. You can see the hole. So that has brought it perfectly to the fill mark. So it's basically took 5.3, just what it said on the service fill. So that's her filled up and ready to go. Okay, that's her heading off now, all oil changed and happy for the next while. Thanks very much for watching.